Okay guys, so is the trap set? Well, let's first of all have a look at the daily correlation between M2 supply and Bitcoin, alright? Again, I would like to remind to everyone that it's not 100% correlated, but I believe that it is around 80 something percent according to Mr. Colin. Big shout out. And now guys, let's start, okay? So I'm going to show you a couple of previous days, right? I would technically argue and agree on the fact that, well, this scenario here kind of played out, right? We had a shift towards the upside for M2 supply, and Bitcoin also experienced a shift towards the upside, right? Now, we've got shift towards the upside number 2, and Bitcoin follow as well. Now, we do have a little bit of area of kind of a little bit of a dips and then ups and downs, right, as you see, and I believe that this is where we are at the moment. And it looks like to me that this major pump for BTC that led to 111 was basically this shift here in M2, right? Here, perhaps we are not correlated as much as we were in here, but I do think that this is kind of a trap, set for leverage traders, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But now, guys, we see that we've got spike towards the upside for M2 supply, and we've got a little bit of a stagnation of a couple of days, right? So let me actually delete this because it's getting messy on the chart. But what I think is happening is that this little stagnation here for M2 equals this kind of dump for BTC. But of course, whales are playing a huge factor in here because liquidity is visible, guys, right? And is ready to be flushed, right? Nonetheless, after this trap, I think we are going to see another all-time highs for BTC, because if I'm going to zoom this actually out a little bit, you see how big of injection of liquidity it is for money to supply, okay? So now, guys, speaking about the trap further, well, let's have a look at the liquidity. Guys, remember that I'm not saying that this is, like 100%, but we see that people are degening into crypto, Bitcoin, so on and so forth, and they are trading with a quite significant amount of leverage. So what does it mean? People that can shake these markets, and trust me, people have a lot of money to shake these projects. Well, obviously we speak about BTC, but guys, you think that whales don't have enough money to shake BTC a little bit? Of course they do, right? There are huge players in this market. So looking at daily, we clearly see that most of people are shorting right now, okay? So what does it mean? Liquidity is currently going to be above us, and on a 7 daily, sorry, this is 1 daily so far, on 1 daily, on a couple of exchanges, which are Binance, OKX, and Bybit, we can clearly see that we've got lots of shorts on every major exchange. And now if I'm going to switch it to 7 daily, you see that nobody is longing BTC at the moment, right? Because obviously BTC dipped. But the thing is that these people are shorting a little bit too late, in my personal opinion. So now looking at liquidity, guys, on a daily, we see that even on a daily, we do have a significant amount of liquidity here at 107. And I am not going to tell you here that, yes, Bitcoin is going to see 107K tomorrow, but it is very likely based on the liquidity. So let's actually switch to 3 daily. That's Binance, by the way, guys, right? They have the biggest liquidity. You see how that liquidity is piling up, and here, if it would be quite confusing for you to read that, you see that more of a yellow color, right? From green to yellow, more money, more liquidity, right? So now Bitcoin is currently trading below these levels of liquidity that lays above, right? Because every degen is shorting at the moment, guys, right? So that's obviously a good entry if you guys are trading, right? Now, weekly, you see what's going on, lots of liquidity. We've got 144 million worth of liquidity on a weekly, right? I know that probably are thinking, okay, but I don't have Bitcoin, I have altcoins, and I would like to finally take out profits on my altcoins, which aren't pumping, right? As you can see clearly, 4 hourly at the time of recording this video, you see what's going on. Guys, by the way, I forgot to mention this video is not financial advice, right? We all have to say it, right? Please don't follow, advices of any YouTuber online, like 100%, right? These are my thesis, and this is what I'm thinking, and this is something that I'm sharing. But anyways, guys, looking at the daily, we see what's going on. Only some white no-sense coin is pumping, and I'm sorry if you guys are holder, if calling it no sense. nonetheless, you can probably take out some profits, right? After, you know, daily gain of 70%, I believe. But now weekly, even weekly is not looking so juicy. So now the question is, are we going to see the further pump for altcoins? Well, this is something that we'll try to figure out, but before that, guys, shameless plug, remember to store your crypto on Tangem or any other thing, right? In this particular video, guys, check out Tangem, because I have multiple Tangem wallets and they never disappointed me. What is the nice thing about Tangem is that it supports a lot of cryptocurrencies, and on the top of that, you don't have to send your crypto back to exchanges on which anything might happen, by the way. You can just swap it for USDT in Tangem app, right? With my discount code CryptoSpace, you can get 10% off, and you can find the link below this video in the description. Now, guys, coming back to charts, right? First of all, let me turn off these lines, right? Let's come back to candles and let me get off a liquidity index, right? So let's first of all have a look on what's going on with Bitcoin's dominance. Well, Bitcoin's dominance, oh my goodness, this nonsense notification. Anyways, guys, what we see is that dominance is playing tricks with us. Again, we do have this yellow candle, which obviously results in blood on the streets for altcoins, right? But at some point, I believe it is going to drop. Well, we can technically argue that we've got some level of resistance here roughly at that 64%, and let's see, right, even here a little level of resistance in these areas, right, which is obviously temporary kind of resistance. We also have confirmations in these levels, right? Let's see if we are going to experience any type of rejection, right, for the dominance. Now, guys, another thing is that we have to look closely at Ethereum. What is happening with Ethereum? So we had a breakup above. Everybody, you know, started longing for Ethereum, and as you guys can see clearly, we had the retest of this level as a support, and now we do have actually trading below. Ethereum is trading below this level, right? So what does it mean? Are we going to see the positive bounce or not really? Guys, I believe so, because, you know, if we are going to look at ETF inflows, let's actually load this website. We see now we do have some outflows for BTC, right? Nonetheless, Ethereum is actually positive if it comes to that. So this is something that we want to see waiting for altcoin season. And I know that many of you, obviously, guys, are following me because of Kaspa content and other altcoins that I was posting about a while ago. Nonetheless, whichever altcoin you have, I believe that this is very important to follow Ethereum, right? So once Ethereum is going to start going to its previous all-time highs, this is where we can experience some greenery for other altcoins, right? Because most of the things are actually built on Ethereum and Solana, right? But obviously Ethereum has to pump first, right? I know that this sign is a little bit worrying, right? If it comes to stochastic RSI currently being in these overheated levels, and what we could experience is another pain. Guys, if that is going to happen, I do hold spot, right? So I don't really care that much, right? Of course, I would like to see, you know, greenery in my portfolio right away. Nonetheless, if that is going to happen, that's fine. As long as I do have some liquidity to deploy, I probably will into the projects that you can actually see in here, right? Because these are the altcoins that I am having conviction in. Well, not all of them, but most of them. I don't currently hold CETAs and SUI. Nonetheless, these are actually good projects, right? But as you see, nobody's interested. Everybody's shorting at the moment, right? But one thing to mention actually before I will wrap up this video, guys, is that nobody's interested just in general in Bitcoin. The sentiment that we had was huge when Bitcoin got into 107, I believe, all-time highs as of October or January, whatever, you know, that last pump. We saw that sentiment came back, and at the moment we had cascading effect towards the downside for that overall sentiment. So what does it mean, guys? There is no retail yet, and they are just crypto bros like we are here on the internet, and, you know, most of the people that are going to basically pump our bags are not here yet. This is something that I wanted to mention, guys. Crypto Rover is posting that Bitcoin exchange reserves just hit a new all-time low. So what does it mean, right? We still didn't have interest rates cut, and we still didn't experience any printing from Federal Reserve, and we don't have a lot of Bitcoin on exchanges, right? We got all-time low. This is very, very bullish. And on the top of that, guys, US Treasury Secretary Bassett says, trade talks with China have stalled. And now, guys, in my opinion, couple of weeks and they will finally settle these deals down, right? That's obviously the scarcity that retail traders and just in general traders don't want to see, right? But once this situation is going to settle, I believe we are going to be in much more favorable conditions for our altcoins to finally pump. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, peace and love, crypto.